my why, my purpose is always about legacy, what can I leave behind?
When did you get into business? Or when did you start thinking like, I'm not doing a job no more, I'm doing something more than this?
And then my teacher was like, bro, listen, you don't speak the language, you have an accent, you're black, and you're misbehaving. If you leave school with bad grades, it will be harder for you to be employed.
For someone that wants to get into rent-to-rent, clearly they can't go in there blindly. What is the first thing that they must do? So what's your first book called?
Rent-to-Rent Blueprint, and it is the Rent-to-Rent Blueprint too.
What's the difference?
Jay-Z, ask him, because he has like Blueprint 1, Blueprint 2 on his album. I just followed that.
See, one of the biggest things that people don't do is think. You have to take ownership of your life. Welcome back to my channel where we discuss property, business, lifestyle and well-being. If this is the first time you are visiting my channel, then please hit the like and subscribe button. So on today's episode, we have Napa from London, who is a rent-to-rent mentor, and he's an author of not one book, but 3 books called The Rent-to-Rent Blueprint. And I can't wait to speak with him today. Congratulations on your book, by the way.
Thank you, man.
You know, because that is a big thing that I'm currently writing a book.
Yeah.
And like, I know the effort that it takes.
I'm actually writing one as well. Like, you're right. It's like you're on your, I don't know, you're experiencing the way you're on, you're off, you're on, you're off.
Yeah.
You write, then you lose inspiration, then you're off it for some time, then you pick
It's
it
just
back
life,
up.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just life gets in the way, and if you got like I don't know, a deal going on, then that's more important right now too, because it's like to write a book, as you probably know more than me, but you have to be in a different space to remember certain things.
Exactly.
Unless it happened yesterday, but you know,
Yeah, literally.
it's deep stuff in books, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what made you get into writing the Rent-to-Rent Blueprint? Because that's what you basically do, isn't it?
Yeah, because I've got two books on rent to rent.
Yeah.
So have you started? Yeah.
Yeah, we've started. Yeah, don't we?
Awesome. So I've got 2 books on rent to rent.
Yeah.
So one is the Rent-to-Rent Blueprint, then this is the Blueprint 2.
Yeah.
So the reason for me to write a book, because my why, my purpose is always about legacy. What can I leave behind?
Okay.
If Napa is gone, what's behind? I still want to be remembered. Does that make sense? So I think like writing a book was one of the way of doing so. Number one, and secondly, no one in my family ever wrote a book. I don't think there's any authors in my family beside me.
Yeah.
So I broke the cycle. And then on the third aspect as well, how many people can I really reach out to by myself? Not many. But if I've got my art, my work, in a piece, I can reach out to many people.
You know what? We'll get onto your book in detail, but that was a good way to just let people know. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself to my audience in 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Wow. So my name is Napa Bafikele.
Yeah.
Origin from DRC, so that's Democratic Republic of the Congo, Central Africa. So I came in the UK when I was about 10 years old. Grew up in North London, went school, went college, went uni, and then went into property, wrote 3 books, mentored people in property as well. So now I'm just building my rental portfolio.
Interesting. Bro, you said a lot of things there.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's dig
So
in.
let's break that down. So were you born in UK?
No, Congo.
Okay.
Yeah, DRC.
What age did you come here then?
10.
10.
Yeah.
And then just got involved in regular school, yeah?
Yes, I think it was like halfway through year 5. So I came in. It was decent, different scenery, different weather. Like everything was different compared to where I came from.
Yeah.
But the obstacle that I had, I couldn't speak the language, because in Congo we speak Lingala.
I was just about to say, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
You speak French?
yeah, but my French now is awful, man. Don't test me.
Yeah.
But then again, you was that French kid in it. Like everyone's calling you Frenchie, French kid. You know, you get other students trying to practice the French on you. So that was kind of like the early phase of my being in the UK.
Okay, okay. And then you went to school as normal.
Yeah, I went to school as normal, played for just blend in, you know,
Yeah,
normal,
yeah,
played
yeah.
football, went to school, done like the normal stuff. But the main obstacle was the language. But
Mm.
obviously, you know, because I was an introvert, so it was quite easy for me to get around to speak to people and try to learn. Like I wasn't phased to ask a question, say, hey, I don't understand what that means. Can you explain it to me what it means?
You just got involved.
Yeah, I just got it. And I think also playing sports help, you know,
Yeah.
because if you're semi-decent, you know, people want to be, you know, indulge within you and, you know, be around you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So that
yeah, yeah.
also helped out, you know, in my infant phase.
Okay, okay. Parents, tell me about your parents. Were they there? Were they here?
Yeah, my mom and dad are here. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
So normal life, yeah, no challenges when you were like growing up where you struggled with certain things, or you had a pretty decent, you didn't see anything.
It was pretty normal, you know,
Okay.
beside the challenge of, you know, you're coming across from like a different culture
Mm.
and you're here and there's also a different culture in, you know, the way things are run, the way kids are raised. Does that
Yeah,
make
yeah, yeah.
sense? So you're kind of in the limbo in between, trying to merge where do you fit in.
Got
Does that
it.
make sense? So, for example, like in Africa, they can be hard on you. People, you know, your parents can hit you. You come here, that's a different ball game.
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
the parents are hating you, your friends, oh, your parents are doing that. You can call that social service. You're like in between. What, you know? What do I do? Does that make sense? So it's like just adapting to the cultures,
Mm.
you know, which was, you know, the financial, some of the challenges. Then you also got like the financial aspect. Does that make sense?
Of course it does. Of course it
So
does.
I haven't come from a wealthy background. You know, my parents, you know, they're not the wealthiest. So I kind of have to fetch for myself earlier on, you
Yeah.
know, in order for me to get the things that I wanted.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So after, did you go uni then? Did you go
Yeah,
college uni?
yeah.
What did you do at uni?
So again, like going through school, right? I was if I take it to secondary school, like because I didn't understand lessons because I could, you know, even though my English was improving, it
Yeah.
wasn't there. So I would go to lessons like I'm like, what are they talking about? So the only way to entertain myself is just to misbehave. Does that make sense? So from year 7 to like year 9, I was like a
A
trouble
naughty
kid,
kid.
naughty. I was like, if I didn't like the subject, I'm your worst nightmare.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm trying
yeah,
to
yeah,
say?
yeah.
Like I would take radio to music to the class, play music. I was like in lower set for like all the classes beside science. I like science. You know what I'm trying to say? But every single classes, I was like lower set, bottom set. And then I think when we done our SATs, that's like year 9, right? I got like 334 for like, I think the 4 was in science, the 3 was in English and maths. And then my teacher was like, bro, listen, you don't speak the language, you have an accent, you're black, and you're misbehaving. If you leave school with bad grades, it will be harder for you to be employed. So to me, that was like a, you know, a turning point. I was like, you know what, I need to get myself together in order for me to become employable. You
Your
know,
teacher said that, yeah?
my teacher, yeah. She's black, but she's called Miss White. She told me that. And then I was like, you know what, let me get myself together so I can be in a position where I have good grades, people can hire me. So year 10, improved, aced in it, year 11, aced it. Then I went to college. That college to me was like the turning point in terms of like academically. So throughout I think we done like 19 units. I've got 18 distinction and 1 merit. So to me, I kind of proved to myself, you know what, I am smart.
Yeah, yeah,
I can
yeah.
get things done if I put my mind into it. So, and then because I did sports science, didn't know what to do, you know, going to school. It was just something that I wanted, you know, I enjoyed sports, so why not? Did sports science, went to uni, same thing.
Okay, okay. So let's fast forward then a little bit. When did you get into business? Or when did you start like thinking like, I'm not doing a job no more. I'm doing something more than this.
I wouldn't say I've been unlucky with employments.
Okay.
Like, even with friends around, they were employable, and I struggled to find jobs.
You did.
I did, you know. And if I did find a job, I wouldn't get in the hours that I wanted to do anyway. So subconscious, I started looking, you know, what can I do to make money? And I always, I always been a visionary. Like, there's always greater things. Like, for me to make money, I can't be employed. If I want to have the life that I want to have, I can't work for someone. Does that make sense?
Of course it does,
So
yeah.
if I'm making 30K a year or 20K a year, what's the company making and what's the owner making? So that's always like my vision.
Is that how you used to think?
That's how I used to think, like,
That's interesting, yeah.
what's the pecking order in order for me to get the salary here? Does that make sense? So, yeah, coming into business, even at secondary school, I wasn't getting money from my parents. So I have to hustle my way around to make money. So in a way, I kind of been looking after myself since I was a kid. And then being told what to do, it was harder for me to take in because I kind of been me, like growing up. If I want money, I'll find a way to make money to get what I want. And now you're telling me, Napa, be here at 7 o'clock, leave at 3 p.m. And then in between, you're bossing me around. So that wasn't really sitting in well
Washing
with me.
well with you, yeah.
It wasn't. So entrepreneurship, started early. But when it started kicking in, I started looking around, all these rich people, like, what do they have? What's the difference like? And then most people that I start researching, they owned a lot of money in real estate property. Then I was like, okay, what's the point of me starting a business, going around the circle to end in property as an asset base?
Yeah.
Why not just start in property?
Okay. Interesting how you thought like that, right? So how long have you been a rent-to-rent mentor for?
I don't know, bro. I think like maybe 2017 I started, 18.
So like 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. And even like mentoring people on rent to rent, I kind of fell into it.
Really?
The same way you said you was bored, I started my journey in 2015.
Yeah.
And when I started, I was homeless and unemployed.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So when I got started, then I had my success, and then I kind of parked. I'm making money. There wasn't really anything for me to do. I hired a manager, and then I didn't have the mindset or the people around me to grow. Does that make sense? Where you have your goals, okay, I'll make this money here, and then once I make it, I'm going to start buying properties. Once I start buying that, I'll move into this. I didn't have that structure.
Okay.
So everyone around was like, oh yeah, rent to rent. So once I started making money, I just parked. One time I was just sitting, I was like, I ain't got nothing to do. And then I put on social, whoever wants help with the rent to rent, meet me in this location here.
Hit me up, yeah.
Bro, like I couldn't believe it, the amount of people that showed up. Like people traveled from like different part of the country to meet me in London just for like 15 minutes. So, and then when we met up, then I'll give them all the values that they wanted, all the questions answered without holding anything back. And then at the back end, I started getting phone calls. Okay, Napa, how much do you charge for your mentoring? I was like, well, mentoring? What are you talking about? I didn't have a package. I didn't have nothing to offer. I was just giving to fulfill my time because I had nothing to do. Does that make sense? And then people start asking, okay, how much do you charge? I want to do this. I want to do that. Then I just thought, let me make a quick package.
Yeah.
Made a quick package. And then someone purchased like my second highest. The other person purchased like my highest package. And then once they start getting results, it just took off.
How much did you sell your first one?
I think it was like, if I can remember, I think it was like 997, I think.
But that was still good price, bro. Like,
that's why I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because I was doing consultation calls for like £30 for like an hour. You know? Or £200 for like 4 hours. Like them silly packages. Not silly, but them basic ones.
Yeah.
But when people start, okay, you know what, I want you to mentor me for like 3 months, 2 months, or 6 weeks, or a month. And for someone just say, okay, you know what, I'll take your highest, and then paid for it, no hesitation. And then once they start getting the value and then start closing deals, and that gave me also the confidence, you know what I'm teaching is actually working. And then it just took off. And then most of my students, they're literally out there doing big things as well.
Yeah. Well, that's really, really good. So how many currently, like how many rent to rents do you have personally?
So I moved on from rent to rent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you have any in the past or?
Yeah, I had about, if I can count like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because we had about 6 in Manchester. I had, I think, one with my guy here.
Yeah.
And then the others I had it with with other people. Then so that's 6. Then I had we had in Cambridge.
Yeah.
I had one in Cambridge, and then in London alone, I think I had about 17.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that was like in with some, and Bedford I had one as well.
So what's the ups and downs to rent, would you say?
Just like any other business, you come in, you make money if you know how to do it properly.
Okay.
Does that make sense? But at the same time as well, if you're doing the HMO aspect, you're dealing with tenants. Tenants can also be a nightmare dealing with tenants. If you don't manage your cash flow well, that can also affect the way you run your business.
Okay.
Does that make sense? But just as I say, just like any other business, you're gonna have your ups, you're gonna have your downs as well.
Oh no, of course. But for example, like what sort of clientele do you go for? Like students, or do you go for like professionals?
Now I go for professionals, but if I do go for students, they'll be like mature students, like second year, ideally third year masters. You wanna go, I'll go for, but they will be overpopulated by professionals. So if it's like a 5-bed house,
Yeah.
we're gonna have maybe 1 or 2 students, the rest professionals.
Got it. Okay. Because you just find with professionals, it's just less hassle a little bit, right?
Yeah, because they employed. Also, you gotta look at the property standard, right? So if you've got students, majority of the time they could be at home. You look at social housing, majority of the time they're home. So that also increases the wear and tear of the property. But if you have like professionals, like they leave earlier on, especially depends if you've got like, let's say, white collar workers, office workers, 7, at the office, 7 p.m., they're back in 05. And then consider they have to go to the gym or socialize. So they're rarely home.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much like a sleeping pod for them, unless it's like the weekend or something. And the majority, if it's the weekend, they might go to the friends or back to the families. So that way, you're also looking after the property.
Of course. Yeah. Same with nurses, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're always out, aren't they? They're never in.
Yeah, if you target people like long working hours, you look out for the property.
Yeah. Would you say rent to rent is still a good strategy to get into for people who want to quit their 9 to 5 job?
100%. Even at the moment, right, the cost of living crisis, people can't afford to even buy properties because things are so up at the moment. The interest rate is high up. Does that make sense? So even you look at people, they used to rent, for example, a 1-bed flat. With the cost of living crisis, they might look into room shares just to to manage the budget adequately. So in terms of like the best time, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But what's the interest rates got to do with the
Like people buying.
Okay.
So if the rates are high, you like that will kind of affect the rate of people buying properties, even like first time buyers. Does that make sense? So if they're not buying properties, what are they going to do? Rent. So the rental market is actually on
That's
the
what
rise.
I'm hearing because the interest rates have gone up a little bit, the rents have gone up a little bit as well.
Because you got to compensate. For example, I'm doing a refinance. I used to get 2%, 2.5, 2.3. One of my refinance I've got 5.4%. Another one I'm getting 8.4%. So imagine that.
What is it, a standard buy to let, or is it?
Standard buy to let.
Wow.
But I'm buying because I'm going to weather the storm. But
Yeah,
for some people, that's like, I'm not touching that.
Yeah, no, they can't touch it, no. Yeah, the numbers have to really stack up now, don't they?
Yeah.
Even more. But okay, so just one more question on that. So for someone that wants to get into rent to rent, clearly they can't go in there blindly. What is the first thing that they must do?
Like, the key thing, you got to educate yourself.
Educate yourself.
You can, bro, like, you don't have to hire someone to learn. You can literally do it by yourself, right? I gave like a good scenario where, us with some property people who went into Bulgaria, right? I never done skiing ever in my life. It was my first ever time to see that amount of snow, let alone trying to ski, right? So I thought to myself, okay, I never done it. I can either go on YouTube, see how how it's done, buy a book, read around it, ask people questions, but I wouldn't get the order of how to do stuff, or I wouldn't get that practicality, right?
Yeah.
I asked a friend, he was impatient, bro. I need to ski myself too. Does that make sense? So how long would it take me to actually master that skill, or actually to ski, right? Because I'm trying to self-educate myself. It will take me a long time, and we're only there for 4 nights. So what I did, I hired an instructor. Within 4 hours, I was moving like a pro. Does that make sense? So that same concept, you can literally go online, social media, YouTube, trying to learn as much as possible you can by yourself. But what is the actual order of doing stuff? What's the actual way of doing things? Does that make sense? That's when it comes in handy to have someone, that's been through the trenches to help you out. Even
Yeah,
as some question could come along the way, they're not going to disclose everything, because most things on social media or online is the what's. It's really the how on to do things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course, no one shares that really, do they?
That's what you paid for.
Yeah.
How do you do this?
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so what's your favorite strategy in property at the moment?
Like I like the BRR, because you can literally grow your portfolio 0 to 100 real quick, because you're actually recycling the cash, especially if you get like proper good deals. Majority can be just like all money out. Like I've done like most of my deals, they're like literally all money out, and some deals I even put extra money on top.
Okay.
So that way you get investors, buy a property, do it up, add value, pull out the money, pay them back, then you keep the asset.
Yeah. So do you think in the market is still like full pull-out deals still available?
100%. Even the one that I just purchased, I'm purchasing right now. Got it for 100k. We will spend about 10k. It's going to revalue 175.
Wow.
So
you purchase for 100, spend 10k. What you doing to it? Just little light work.
Light work. Just updating it.
Okay.
But then you're pushing the value that much.
That's a good price though. That is a really you're spending 10 grand.
I've just done one. I know it's got undervalued. Bought it for 65. We spent 11. It got valued at 110. But I know it's worth about 130, 120 minimum.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to challenge that, because there's a lot of comparables to support my claim. So if you take your time, you look for deals, you get the right deals.
Yeah. Well, again, it comes back to education, right?
Yeah,
if you know what you're looking for, you're
100%.
going to find it, isn't it?
Like some people, they'll spend a lot of time, which I encourage at the beginning. They'll view property. They'll spend like hours viewing properties. I really do that. I really know exactly what I'm looking at. So once it comes in, bam, close.
Yeah.
Because why am I going to waste my time viewing lots of properties when I know it's not what I'm going for? Even the type of property, the style of property, the type of refurbs, I've got everything down to the T what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So where are you looking for these properties? What areas are you looking?
I'm on the northeast.
Is that where you're based now?
No, I'm in London, bro.
But you're
that's
doing deals up there.
That's why I do my deals.
Because I was thinking then 100 grand, it has to be up north.
Yeah, 100%. They wouldn't even get you anything in London. But
Yeah.
That's why I'm getting my deals.
Okay. So northeast, Middlesbrough, around them areas.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can get some good cheap properties up there. Okay, interesting. So, what are you finding? Just a question on the BRR. So, what are you finding with the refurbs at the moment? Are you finding the prices with the bathrooms and the kitchens and the labourers, are they charging more now?
Yeah.
The contractors?
Yeah. In comparison, when like in 2020 to now, there has been an increase on the materials, the labour cost, etc.
Yeah.
But then again, everything has to fall in within your due diligence, within your costing of what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's I bought a property for 61k. We spent 6,500 doing it up. It got revalued at 85k. Does that make sense? But with that refurb, I knew exactly what we need to do.
Yeah.
And you got to be very clear instruction what you want to happen to the property, to your team. Otherwise, they can just take and run with it, and then end up costing you a lot of money.
Yeah. You know what? I've got a question for you. So in London, I don't know if you know this or not, but for example, if someone wanted to do like a brand new bathroom compared to Northeast, what's the price difference?
So I was speaking to my friend, right? He said, "Oh, he's doing a bathroom for 15k." I was
What?
like, bro, what's going to be inside that toilet or that bathroom? ATM or what? Like 15k for a bathroom alone?
Wow. But is that normal though?
I guess it is. I don't think it's normal. I don't. Because they're saying they charge maybe like £600 for the labour cost. But surely it won't cost you, 13 or 14k to get a bathroom.
Yeah.
So, but
that's expensive, that.
Very, very. I don't think that's normal. I think you can still get it done within the 2.5, 3k mark.
Do you think?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because everyone talks about prices in London, like the crazy prices, and I was like, I wonder what is crazy. But if it's like, Okay, so you have 2 books, bro.
3.
3 books.
Yeah.
Tell me about them.
So the first book is the Rentman Blueprint.
Which is this one, yeah?
No, that's the second one.
Okay, so this is your second book, yeah? Right, okay.
So the first one, bro, that book took me time.
This one.
No, not this was like 3 months. It was done.
Really?
Yeah,
Still
that's like my quickest writing book.
Okay, Rent Blueprint, right?
Yeah. So the first one, when I wrote my first book, I remember someone telling me, bro, like, you're not worthy enough to write a book. You're not experienced enough to write a book.
Someone said that to you?
Yeah. So I wrote it. I just parked it.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And then I was like, you know what? Let me just put it out. And when I put it out, it went crazy. Like the purchase was, it went Amazon best-selling book, #1.
Self-published.
Self-published. Usually you get like, for example, this one I think like the highest it picked was at #3, because this one I was actually against with. Is it David Hearn, that boxing promoter?
Eddie Hearn.
Eddie Hearn, yeah, he was
David
number
Hearn.
1. He was #1 and #2
Yeah.
with the same book, and I was #3. But the first one, it was like actually #1, and you got like your Lord Sugar, your Elon Musk like beneath me.
So what's your first book called?
Rentman Blueprint, and then this the Rentman Blueprint 2.
What's the difference?
Jay-Z, ask him, because he has like Blueprint 1, Blueprint 2 on his albums. I just followed that. But the first one is pretty much, how you do the strategy.
Okay.
A bit of my story, so people get to know exactly who I am, how I started, my downfall, my rise. And then, so, a bit how you can start the business, the compliance aspects of it, how to look for deals, how you analyze it. So it kind of gives you the blueprint of how you can start a business. But then the Blueprint 2, it was actually inspired because my friend, I think it was like my birthday, I went to Dubai.
Your friend here?
Yeah. So on my birthday, they done a surprise for me. And then when we came back, we landed, we went to Wood Green for a meal. I never knew it was a surprise. We got there, he was there, a couple guys was there. And then one of my other guys, I think you know him as well, TJ, he was like, oh, Kobe's dead. I'm like, Kobe Bryant. I said, bro, like, nah, you're trying shit. Like, how? Then he showed me, was like, nah, the thing happened, the crash. So that's when I was inspired to write this book. Because I had one of the aspects that I clocked within this property game, people are always excited to get involved. They're always excited to make money. But because it's triggered emotionally through the selling aspect, the logical part of the business is not really prepared, if that makes sense. So they were coming very enthusiastic about making money, doing this, doing that. You ask anyone that's starting like rent to rent, or how much do you want to make? 10K. I can justify why you want to make 10K. There's no justification behind that. Does that make sense? Because it's been said, oh, how much do you want to make? 3K. You want to source property, how much should I be making per month? Okay, I want to sell maybe 2 deals for 6K, 3K each. So it's just like buzzwords that's been going through the industry, but without actual
reasoning behind, like, whys, and they don't know.
Why do you want to make this much money, behind it? It wasn't. So, and then when you look at people's mindset, it wasn't really prepared enough to take the challenges that will come along this, this industry. So that's why the Blueprint 2, I kind of focus more on the mindset, your purpose, like what's your reason.
Yeah.
For example, that chapter, I think is a Mamba mentality or Mamba attitude, whatever it's called, which was inspired by Kobe Bryant. That type of mentality you need to come on this game here. And then I spoke to one of my guy. He does marketing, for like big companies like Coca-Cola, etc. Then we narrowed down, okay, what's the best way we can market this business to landlords? What's the best way we can sell this business to landlords? So we kind of spoke about marketing and sales. And then I've got some of my mentees, I think like 5 mentees, that killed it to speak about the experiences, what worked out for them.
Yeah.
Because every single person have like different strategies on how to attack the strategy, how to approach landlord, how to approach agents. So I've got 5 people tell us, okay, what works for you and why has it worked?
Yeah.
And I've got 5 people tell us, obviously you've done the training, you've done the mentoring, but you haven't been successful. Tell me why. And then so you kind of get a balanced perspective on, both both mindsets.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. Okay, so since you've become an author, have things changed for you? Have you noticed like people look at you a little bit differently, like
Yeah,
in terms
yeah,
of respect, in terms of like,
yeah. I don't know why that is though. People.
because it's a big thing, it is a big deal.
Do you know what? Things that people think is a big deal, I don't. Maybe because I just glide through what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, oh my God, you wrote a book. Oh, you got 3 books. That's amazing. Like, how did you just like, bro? You just write.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, people do see you different. They do put you on a different pedestal.
Do you get more offers because of that? Do you get people
I think
asking
you
you?
get more respect and more, because if you see me, I'm not like your typical business person, or you wouldn't think, oh, this guy is doing what he's doing until I tell you or you see my credentials.
Yeah.
So once I say, oh, I've written a book. Oh, really? Oh, you're chatting shit, bro. Check, just type my name on Amazon. Raw. The energy changes.
3 books. Never
Exactly,
mind
bro.
one.
Exactly. Then the energy changes. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that kind of gives me that little extra edge.
Close leverage, doesn't it? Interesting. Okay, so what has been your biggest deal so far?
My biggest deal on the rent to rent, there was a deal where we cash flowed. It was a 6-bed. We turned it to a HMO, and it was bringing about 1,500 per month.
After expenses, yeah?
Yeah. Net profit.
What area?
East London.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in terms of like buy refurb refinance, there's a deal that I purchased for 53,500. We spent about 34K, and it got revalued at 150. So we put out like an extra 10K. So
Nice.
I think that's my best deal to date.
Okay. It's good when you get nice deals, isn't it?
Yeah, but then majority of my deals has been like that, where I pull out extra 3K, 2K, and if I'm gonna leave money, it's under 10K.
Yeah. That's good. Have you lost any money on any deals?
I haven't lost money on any deals, but one deal I left about 15K. I don't know what went. I think on my 3rd book, right? I wrote about when you're not successful, you're trying to build a business or you're trying to build something, right? You have blind spots. You're aware of your blind spots. But when you start getting success along the way, those blind spots become your blind spots. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So where you can do your thorough due diligence, because you want to make sure the deal is actually right. But once you start making, good deals, and you fall into that patterns where you're not really making those extra due diligence, it's like, how can I get these figures wrong? How come I didn't factor this in? Then I end up leaving more money in. So I didn't lose money on, but I left more.
You left more equity in the...
than anticipated. And then my current deal, the one I'm doing right now, so I bought this for 65, as I said before. We spent 11. I was expecting at least 120 minimum, right? Because I've got a property on that road where it valued 150. So Homes Under the Hammer, because I'm going to go on that show as well, they valued at 120 on the reveal. But when I done my valuation for refinance, they valued at 0. I'm like, raw, like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
They said the property had a structural movement. I'm like, structural movement? Like, we looked around. I had my builder to look around. There wasn't anything structural, on the property. So they valued at 0. So I had to hire a structural engineer to give me a report. The report came back, it's all fine. And then they valued the property at 110. I'm like, how can you value a property at 110 when next door a 2-bed average condition sold for 112, and mine is a 3-bed, good condition.
Yeah.
And you're giving a 110. So that's another battle that I'm going through right now to rectify it. Because I believe easily 120 on that deal. Even if it's still like I might pull that extra 2K on top.
Yeah.
Because I think 65, 11, 110, you might pull like maybe like 82 and a half. So I'm still within the figures.
Might be worth getting a few valuation documents for reports from local valuers and put that in as well. Submit that.
Even I try to challenge, it's hard to actually challenge a valuer. Does that make sense? Because just look how incompetent I'll make them look. You came saying that there was a structural movement. Now there isn't. Now I'm telling you, the numbers that you've given me, what
Yeah.
is valued, is actually low.
Yeah.
So, you know,
But you know what, bro? I know a few people that have contested it and successfully won it just because they've got good, like, black and white paperwork.
yeah.
So if you've got everything black and white, you might have an opportunity,
Yeah, it
chance
could be
to.
worth, just to challenge it. But
Yeah.
then again, there's another issue that I'm having along the way, because that property was 100% investor finance, and most lenders would even entertain it until after 6 months. And I'm like, 2 months in, does that make sense? So there's a lot that goes in, in this property investment, but it's all a learning curve.
Yeah. So have you got a good mortgage broker?
Yeah, she's decent, man. She's
Is she?
good, very good.
Okay. So this is an interesting question, bro. And I think I know what your answer is going to be, but let's see. So would you do a boxing match with any mentor? And if you would you like to call anyone out?
I'll fuck everybody up. Hey, did you see my story last night?
No?
Bro, I'm dangerous, man. I will sort everyone out. I'm not going to call out whoever wants to just tell me. I'll sort them out.
Anyone you want to call out specifically? Just if you think anyone, you think is a challenge or anything?
Maybe, because you have a group, the By Street Boys.
Okay.
So maybe, I know TJ won't take it.
Yeah. TJ doesn't want no smoke, yeah?
I think he posted saying, oh yeah, he should have a boxing match. And someone said Napa. Goes, bro, have you seen what Napa does? Have you seen his body?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. Anyone, bro. Even you, call yourself out. I'll sort
Call
you
me out.
You look a bit muscly, but it'll be a fair match.
Well, how much do you weigh?
80.
We were similar weight.
See? Perfect.
You never know, right? She was saying to me beforehand, she goes, he should ask you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, that'll be interesting. That'll be a good one, eh?
Yeah.
Have you trained, like, have you done boxing before? Or?
So as a kid, I done taekwondo.
Yeah.
Now I'm just doing Muay Thai, MMA.
I've done Muay
jiu-jitsu.
Thai as well.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so
it will be a good match then.
it will be a good match.
Yeah.
But bro, like, I don't think it'll be a fair competition, to be honest.
Why?
Okay, so my next question, so this is a really good one. What is the best all-round book, apart from yours, that you've read and you would recommend to others to read as well?
The Compound Effect. I think Darren Hardy. That book is solid, bro.
Dan Hardy.
I think it's Darren. I'm bad with names, bro, so don't...
Yeah. What is it called? The Compound Effect?
Yeah. That's a very...
What is it, like a mindset?
No, it's just about how, like how money compound. So
Yeah.
If, same as your character, your behavior, your thought pattern, your actions, it's I haven't read it for a long time, but that book always, stuck in my mind.
Okay.
It's a very good book.
Would you recommend like that for someone to read who's just starting off in their personal development journey? That would be the first book to read, or would you say read this one first?
Yeah, I'll still read that one.
Okay.
The Compound Effect, yeah. But then again, when it comes on personal development, what are you trying to develop?
Yeah.
Is your mindset, your health, your finances. Where you're trying to develop.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Okay, so what is your relationship like with health and wealth? Are you a regular gym goer?
Do I look it?
I don't know. I can't tell with that t-shirt on.
What do you think?
It looks like you keep yourself in shape.
Yeah, but I like my aim is to exercise 7 days a week.
Okay.
That's literally my aim.
Okay.
So per day I would do minimum 2 hours.
And it helps with your mindset as well, doesn't
Big
it?
time,
Massively,
big
doesn't
time.
it?
That's why I can enjoy a lot of things. That's why I can travel the country without being tired. I can come here. I can literally go on forever.
What's your macros like though?
What, my food? Good.
Okay.
Usually I have like 1 meal per day.
1 meal per day?
Yeah, usually.
That's not the best.
Because it's an intermittent fasting, whatever it's called. It's a whatever that fasting is.
Yeah.
I've been doing since I was like 15 years old, bro. So to me, it's like it's just kind of stuck in.
Okay.
But if I'm gonna have like
works for
my intense days, I'm always making sure I'm on a deficit of what I'm taking in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
But
know?
do you hit your proteins, carbs, and fats?
Yeah, yeah.
You try to, because you
So
won't be able to do that in one meal.
no, no, no. So ideally, but even yeah, you can. I just put everything together before my training.
What? How much do you weigh? 80?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you would need to eat at least 160 grams of protein.
yeah. I have like big meals before my sessions.
Okay.
Yeah, but then again, bro, I can fast for days as well.
It's good to fast sometimes, to be honest.
Yeah,
I try
it's
to
a good
fast. Well, at
reset.
the minute we're fasting, but
Mm.
I try to usually fast once a week on a Monday or a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
It just helps with the discipline as well,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
because sometimes I'll do like one day I'll fast once a week. Then at the end of the month, I might do like 3 days.
Hmm.
You know, just like liquid, just water.
Interesting. Okay, so you know when you get mentees signing up
Mm-hmm.
to you usually, what is the very first challenge you notice in them that you have to tackle?
The mindset is the mindset also. How can I put it into words? When they're psyched up for the wrong reasons.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
What do you mean? Like, give me some
As I
examples.
said earlier on, you know, they will come in. Like for me, right? You can be a good salesman by tackling people's emotions.
Yeah.
You know, psych it up. You can do this. You can do that, and they'll reason later. But to me, knowing what it takes to be successful in this industry, I'd rather be straight up front with you.
Yeah.
If you're not up for it or you're not able to face this type of challenges,
Yeah, yeah.
you shouldn't come in. Does that make sense? Then you get someone that'll come to you, say, I'm a single mom, I've got this many kids, I do this, you know, I work here. Like, you literally have no
They're
hours
making
to.
excuses before they even come in.
It's never about making excuses. Like, if you just look at your structure, where's the time to put in? You know, because you're going to compete against guys like me, yourself, others, where they're harnessing the skills. And then if you're putting less time in and you're expecting faster results,
Yeah.
how's that going to happen? You know, and at the same time, if you do get a deal, obviously since you're a solopreneur, like if you come across obstacles or you need to tenant the houses, how are you going to do that? Because the longer you keep it empty, the longer it's costing you money.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense? So once you're coming in, as I always say, bro, you're starting a business, so the more prepared you are, the better it puts you in a position to be successful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, then I get someone asking me, oh, I want to be making 15K like in 3 months. Is that possible? I said, it depends how you see it, but to me, it's a bit unrealistic. You got to factor in the resources that you've got. You don't have any money to put in, so how are you gonna accumulate that?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's no money down. What's no money down? You know. So even there's no money down, it could be okay, but there's an element of money needs to go in order to facilitate that deal to manifest.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay. So do you spend money on coaches yourself
Yeah,
at the
100%.
moment as well?
Yeah.
Or are you past that now, or are you still spending money on yourself with
Yeah,
certain
100%.
things?
Things that I need, you know, things that I want, I will spend money on it.
So what is it your weaknesses at the moment? Like,
So
you
right
feel
now I
like
want to do commercial conversion, so I'm
Okay.
spending money to learn that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I went to a networking event last night. You know, I met this coach. He's like what she called herself? Like she will help you how you can present yourself. You know,
With the public speaking or presentation or something?
public speaking, the way you speak,
Yeah.
the way you dress. You know, all of that. So I was like, you know, that's interesting because I'm always conscious about how I look.
Okay.
You know, so it will be kind of, if I want to still keep my hair this style, how can I still blend in within that corporate society?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, it's interesting because I'm a big believer, like, if you're a coach, you should be always, like, constantly learning, right?
100%. You always got, because you got to be ahead of everyone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, you always got to keep on learning.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep on learning, yeah.
So what's your future plans then, Napa? What is it you're looking to do next? What's your goals like? Or do you even write goals down, or what's your plans?
Like for me, it's just like I don't think, you know, when people say, oh yeah, my exit is like this, I don't think I have an exit plan, you know.
Okay.
Like, I believe we're supposed to work. Does that make sense? So for me, I enjoy my property stuff. I love my property thing. I'll just keep on growing it, whether it's through BRR, rent to rent, commercial conversion, development. I think that's the space that I enjoy being in, so I'll just keep on growing it till eternity.
Yeah.
At the same time as well, I want to help people along the way, as
Yeah,
many
yeah.
people that I could, to bring up on the ladder, to help them, manifest their dreams as well. So to me, in terms of like, if there's an exit plan, like, we in it for the long haul.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Are you not looking to do? I don't know if you currently do this, but do you do events? Are you looking to do events all over UK, or do you want to go there? Or
No, I've done like, like, not like organized myself, but I attended where I was a speaker.
okay,
Does that make sense? But I'm working on creating something for the Congolese community. But then again, that's another challenge in itself, because there's a lot of mindset that needs
it's
to be
mindset issues, isn't it?
cleaned up. So, but then again, where I can deliver value, where I can touch people's life, because I believe your purpose is not all about, it's not yours, it's for someone else.
Yeah, yeah,
Does that make sense? So you may say, okay, I'm bored, let me start this podcast. But the fulfillment is you giving value to other people, which is your audience.
definitely.
It's
Yeah,
definitely not about you, it's about them.
yes.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah, yeah.
where I can give value to others, that's where you find me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen. Any final messages to any young guns out there, or anyone that's just starting off, or all the hustlers and business owners? Just any message, anything you want to say. How can people find you? We'll put everything in the description anyway.
Yeah.
But just anything you want to say.
So I'll just say, keep going on, man. It's a tough journey. Make sure you have the right circles around you, the right people around you.
Yeah,
That's crucial. Especially when you're going through tough time, you want definitely people that can relate to what you're going through to kind of navigate you. And you also got people that have more experience. So you kind of have like your three groups, where people that are way advanced than you, people where you're on the same level, and people you're more advanced than. So you can always get a balanced perspective on everything that you're doing.
yeah. I think that's well put. Well, Napa, thank you for coming on, bro.
Thanks for having me, my
I
brother.
appreciate that, man.
All love, man.